Hey everybody, I'm here to talk to you about the digital SAT and PSAT. Primarily I'm discussing about the PSAT just because I'm kind of in that age group at this point, but basically the same rules apply for the SAT that the PSAT is. Changing the window, let me go ahead and cover that, for the PSAT for 8th and 9th graders is October 2nd through the 31st. So if you are like me, you took a PSAT maybe in elementary school or high school, early high school, and it was all written and things like that. You circle in the bubble or whatever. Those things are gone for the most part. So let me go ahead and tackle in the first thing. First, the SAT will go digital spring 2024. The PSAT, like I said, is in October. Depending on where you're testing, it might be at your school. My daughter's taking the PSAT at her school, and that is in October, early to mid-October. So the new format for SAT begins in March 2024, but you can go ahead and take as many PSATs as you want to on the College Board website to practice for the SAT, and I recommend that you do so. My daughter, over Labor Day weekend, thought it would be fun to take a PSAT again, and she did quite well, actually. So we're pretty impressed with that. She should be proud. So now she knows what to expect, right? So she took that test ahead of time. She knows what to expect. So we're going to go ahead and keep going with this. So the digital format is the newest, greatest thing. We'll see how great it is. But it will be taken on, the PSAT is digital as well. Again, that both of these things correlate. The test will be taken on an approved laptop or iPad, school-owned desktops and laptops, or school-managed Chromebooks. There will be accommodations for those students who still need a written test. So it's not going to be for everybody, but if you need accommodations for a written test, those things will still be there for you. What's different about it as well is that the digital PSAT and SAT, everyone gets a unique test. So my daughter will be sitting in her chair taking a test that no one else in the room has. So it's going to be unique, and I think that that's a plus for going digital as well. So the test length is around 2 hours and 14 minutes, and it's comprised of 2 sections, which will be divided into 2 modules. So it's always been, the SAT and the PSAT has been quite a bit longer. The reading sections were quite long, and a lot of kids were finding trouble, going through the passage and then answering the questions and getting that done under the time limit. So what does it look like? It's going to consist of, the first module is going to be 25 operational questions and 2 pre-test questions, 32 minutes to complete it, multiple choice answers, and 1 passage per question. So the second module is almost identical. It's 25 operational questions and 2 pre-test questions, 32 minutes, multiple choice, 1 passage per question, and that is for the reading and writing. The only difference is the math module, 20 operational questions, 2 pre-test questions, 35 minutes to take that. That's a little bit of a longer span, and multiple choice and student-produced responses. So basically, the first and second module are identical, and the first and second under the math are identical. So first and second reading, writing, first and second math are identical. It's also adaptive. The new digital SAT and PSAT are adaptive. So what does that mean? It follows a multi-stage adaptive technology, meaning it adapts to your performance throughout the exam. So it's let's say the first module of each question, each section has a mix of easy, medium, hard questions. So your performance on the first module will determine the level of difficulty in the subsequent modules. So the questions in the second module may get more difficult if you aced that first module. So it's adapting to the test taker's performance. So that's something that I think is a positive. When I asked my daughter how that affected her, if she knew, because she knew going in it was adaptive, if she thought that was particularly helpful, like if the questions got harder, and she just felt like in general, total, it was all much easier just format-wise and much easier to take. Even in the practice PSAT on the College Board that you can do right now that my daughter took, they give you breaks. So there will be some testing breaks like we have grown accustomed to over the years. So adaptive, digital, things like that. So the next thing is the calculator. So in the end, it's the end of no calculator math on the SAT. So we used to have, you couldn't do the math section with the calculator until you got to the calculator section. Now there is no calculator section. It's all calculators. So you can use your calculator on the entire thing. So you will have the option to use an approved personal calculator or take advantage of the built-in graphing calculator now offered on the Digital PSAT and SAT. So what does that look like? Well, when I asked Aubrey, she said it was a little bit more difficult to use, so she just went back to her regular calculator, her TI 34 or 84, depending on which one you're using, but most of them are the 84 at this point. So you use what's best. How do you know what's best? You take a practice test and you find out. That's how you know. You don't want to go into this Digital PSAT or SAT with not knowing basically how this test is going to go for you. This is a new territory. None of us have done it leading up to it unless you go in and you do practice tests. And like I said, you can do that right now. You can just go in and prepare right now for October. So there's also new built-in digital tools. There's a testing timer, so you're not having to worry about a proctor telling you how much time is left. It's right there on your test. There's a built-in graphing calculator, as I talked about. There's a reference sheet with commonly used math formulas. And I didn't get into asking Aubrey if that was super helpful for her or not. So you may want to take a look at that as well. There's also a mark for review button. So like it's a little star in a yellow circle. And you can just mark it and say, oh, I'm not sure I got that one right. I need to come back to that one if I can. There's also annotation and highlighting features. You used to not be able to highlight in your booklet at all. Now you can highlight certain passages and things like that on the test, on the digital one. So there's that. I recommend still using a scratch piece of paper. When we took the practice test here, we used a scratch piece of paper. I think you're still allowed to do that in the actual PSAT and the SAT, and taking your TI-84 calculator. I recommend going ahead and doing that anyway. Okay, so what are the advantages of going digital? Well, I have my thoughts, but more time to answer each question. Yay, because it always feels so rushed. Faster test scores, which is really big, yay. As soon as she finished her practice SAT, she had her score right away, and that was great. So, and you can see the right and wrong answers as well. There's more secure testing, they tell us, that that's supposed to be an advantage. We'll see. And it's a shorter overall exam experience. So it's still scaled to a 1600 score. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at what the top score is. So with that being said, that's pretty much all I have about the PSAT, except one of the things you need to do if you want to take a practice PSAT, or at least just look at it before your October PSAT, and you can do this for the SAT as well, go to collegeboard.com and then find the Blue Book app that can be downloaded to your laptop, computer, iPad, whatever it is. Download Blue Book, and that will get you started on your journey of taking a practice test, which is super encouraged if you're going to take a digital SAT or PSAT for the first time, because you don't know what you don't know at this point. Aubrey has her answers that she missed, and she's able to go right back and check through Khan Academy, because it links you to Khan Academy. How do I do this problem? And how do I fix it so I don't miss it next time? Because there is no secret sauce to the SAT. It's how do I, especially for math, what did I answer wrong? What did I miss in the problem? Teach me, because there's a lot of resources out there on the computer. Teach me, go to your teacher and ask them, I missed these on the SAT or on the PSAT. Can you show me how to do these? I know this is probably 2 years ahead of me, but can you show me? Correct your answers and you're likely to get a really high score. So it's all in the power of the student. And parents, if you're out there, encourage the kids to go on to the College Board and download Blue Book and take these PSATs. Just a quick 2-hour PSAT just before they take the real thing in October. And especially if you're a junior and you're taking the SAT and stuff like that, you need to practice. You need to make sure you're spending your time to do that. So that's all I have today. I know it's not short. Hopefully it's sweet. So just give me questions if you have them. Otherwise, take your PSAT. Take your PSAT before you take the official one in October. Thanks.